Good evening, good evening, good evening. God bless you guys on this beautiful Palm Sunday. How you guys doing this evening? Hi, Nana. Hi, Mark. Hi, Richard. Hi, Rodney. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Billy. Hi, Tia. Hi, Retha. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Richard. How you guys doing? Please hit that share button if you guys can. We definitely appreciate it. All those shares out there definitely help. Of course, you can see the shadow banning we're getting from Facebook. I don't know why, but that's what they do. Happy Palm Sunday, Easter coming next weekend. Right around the corner. At least Easter baskets got out, so I'm glad about that. And I want to thank Debbie Martin for the donation earlier today. If she's not here yet, but I'm sure she will be. Hi, Sandra. How you guys doing tonight? Echoing. Echoing. Let me see if I can fix that for you guys. I don't see any echoing on my side, but maybe I'm just going crazy. I don't know. Nope, no echoing on my side. So must be something up with your computer. Hi, Michael. Well, what we're going to start talking about today is what's actually happening in the world. Get off. We're started with here in Ukraine, and what happened today in Ukraine. Talk about, of course. So as Sunday draws to a close, Kiev and Moscow, there are a few key developments of the day. A new Russian general has been tapped to take over the faltering invasion of Ukraine. A U.S. official has, of course, told us this. Alexander Dovivako, 60 years old, who was previously in charge of the southern section of the war. It comes as Russia is expected to open a new offensive in the country's east after pulling out of the Kiev region. A large military convoy stretching at least 8 miles was seen traveling northeast through northeast Ukraine, as imagery collected by companies called Maxar Technology on Friday showed hundreds of military vehicles. Of course, right now we're suspected to be around 460,000 troops outside of Ukraine waiting to get entered. Ukraine's top prosecutor says she's uncovered more than 5,006. Prosecutor has uncovered 5,600 cases of alleged war crimes. And it has a list of over 500 suspects that she had with Sky News earlier today, if you guys were watching that. And almost every region of Ukraine was bombed, supposedly saying that those are all illegal, what they did. Whether it's true or not, we'll find out. But yeah, well, internet, we're having issues. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Siberia stuff too that's going on right now. I mean, if you guys don't know, the semi-secret, calling it a semi-secret because it's not really a secret, Russia's allies took Siberia took a delivery of sophisticated Chinese anti-aircraft systems in a veiled operation this weekend. Of course, the U.S. and the West is concerned about the buildup of arms. Of course, at this time in the war of Ukraine, it could threaten the fragile peace in the region. Media and military experts said Sunday at least 6 Chinese aircraft, Y-20 transport planes, landed in Belgrade's civilian airport early Sunday, reporting carrying HQ-22 surface-to-air missile systems for the Siberian military. The Chinese cargo planes with military markings were pictured in Belgrade's Nicholas Tesla Airport. Siberian defense minister did not respond, of course, for comments. The arms delivery over the terrain or territory of at least 2 NATO member states, Turkey and Bulgaria, was seen by experts as a demonstration of China's growing global reach. Of course, raising many eyebrows as they flew over en masse. A single aircraft flight would have been enough to, of course, raise concern. Of course, the number of flights that we've seen so far, it's a fairly new development. Of course, what's happening, we don't know. We know a number of troops have been moved also from China. We know there's a lot of pressure going on. False flag is, of course, listed to happen on the 18th of April. So if we do see a false flag come up on the 18th of April, we know where it's coming from. Because, of course, Belgrade, U.S. officials warned Belgrade against the purchase of the anti-aircraft system because they said if Siberia really wants to join the European Union and other Western alliances, it must align with military equipment with Western standards. This is a big blow for, of course, NATO or the New World Order, folks. But Russia's gearing up for the biggest battle yet. Officials are expecting a large-scale tank and artillery battle, and it will remind you of the Second World War. This is coming. It's not a question. Ukraine and Russia's poured reinforcements into eastern Ukraine this weekend, preparing for what's likely the biggest battle as refugees continue to flee the looming battle. Russia's main objective now is to seize parts of eastern Donbass region, not yet controlled by Moscow. Unlike the first phase of the 6-week-old conflict, the shift forcing Ukraine into fighting conventional battles involving tanks and artillery and aircraft on a flat, often barren terrain that allows Russia to use its leverage and superior military technology. So between China getting into this war, I can't really go into detail about 418, but if you go on, I'll put a link in the chat in a minute because we can't talk about it on Facebook. But 418, of course, there's a false flag event that's been reported on that supposedly the Western nation will be carrying out, making it look like Russia's doing it. That's not the biggest concern. We're looking all around. We're seeing what's happening out there. And yes, a lot of people are worried. A lot of people think they know what's going on. But we're not just talking about Ukraine here. We're talking about U.S. trained officials or officers leading numerous coups in Africa as we speak. Involvement in recent years has only further destabilized the conflict zone in Africa. And U.S. trained officers have led 7 coups or coup attempts in Africa in the last year and a half. This week on Intercept investigation, details involve U.S. involvement in the African continent. U.S. trained officers have attempted coups in 5 West African countries alone. 3 times in Burkina Faso and 3 times in Malta, and once in Guyana and Malvan and Gambia. It's ridiculous to hear this. We say something about what happened January 6th here. Yeah, that's, there's a lot being talked about, but it's not good. But we talk about what happened on January 6th here in the United States. But yet the United States is now being pointed, and there's no denying the information that's coming out about the United States and what's happening in Africa, causing disruption, coups within the government, disrupting every government they have. Literally, disrupting the government all around Africa. And most Americans have no idea their tax dollars have or what they're doing in Africa, or the broader implications of failed U.S. counterism policies to be employed repetitively in country after country. It's time to sound the alarm and say enough is enough. The United States should not be there. Ridiculous. No, March inflation rates come out Tuesday, and we will talk about them when they do. They are not expected to be good. March inflation rates are not expected to be looking good, as we know what's happening. But it's sad. It is sad that our military thinks they have, or our government thinks they have the right to say what happens in Russia, what happens in other countries. But yet we see what they're doing in South Africa or in Africa, in West Africa, taking these countries and dismantling their governments one after another. Yeah, I received one of those verification letters in order for them to accept my check, said Teresa. It's not good. It is not good. If the United States can admit to the problems that we are causing around the world, then how can we even sit there and decide to say anything when somebody else is causing problems? Like what's happening in Ukraine right now. I feel bad for the citizens of Ukraine. I do not feel bad for the government of Ukraine. And that's an important difference. Meanwhile, the U.S. is invading the West Africa and then moving on to Biden's plan to announce new gun control regulations and eyes new ATF nominee this week. He's expected to announce his new regulations. And what is his new regulations? We don't know yet. But as soon as Monday, it could to contain at least privately made weapons, the use of privately made weapons. People familiar with the matter said he comes under pressure in taking steps to address gun violence. First of all, if when you print or 3D print firearms and you make them, they are not reliable. It is a hobbyist thing. And I think those should be free. I think the United States should not have any kind of regulation. The so-called ghost guns. Biden is expected to name Steve Delabacha, a former U.S. attorney from Ohio, as his nominee to lead the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives as soon as Monday, according to the U.S. officials. Biden's previous nominee was forced to withdraw amidst opposition in the Senate. The move comes with gun violence and crime having ticked up in the United States. Well, it's ticked up because of inflation. Putting pressure on the White House to take action, Biden was expected to address the next steps. The new step on gun and public event on Monday afternoon, and we will be covering that. According to people involved, the White House declined to comment on any of the new steps, which we've been reaching out to them, and were described by 3 people familiar with the matter, not authorized to speak publicly. But, of course, his new electee did not respond to any requests for comments as well. But it's ridiculous. Literally, more gun control, more sanctions in the U.S. U.S. putting their nose in everybody's business. It is just sad. Yeah, Biden calling himself the vice president. It's just ridiculous at this point. What are we going to do? Yeah, well, it could have just been a steam blow off valve. The manhole cover blew off in Times Square area, and those can be loud. But it is sad watching what's happening. This is our country, and we're watching it fall apart. We're watching us, of course, go and fight wars in foreign countries. Our president wants to restrict our gun rights at every single time we turn around. Every time we turn around. And then, of course, we got Omicron back on the horizon as the B2 variant, of course, is now in the BA2 subvariant. And what's happening and where's it coming from and what's happening? Of course, last summer, the Delta variant swept through the world with a dizzying pace. Then Omicron became the worst worrisome virus variant, the predominant strain in the U.S. Now experts are keeping a close eye on the B2 or BA2 subvariant of Omicron, or BA1, which already makes up more than 50% of all cases. BA2 is believed to be more contagious than previous strains of the virus. The good news is BA2 does not appear to be more cause for more serious illness than the original variant. And it has not caused widespread rise in hospitalizations in Europe, but there is still much to learn. Of course, a spike in COVID cases is expected, potentially different symptoms than the original variant. But as we face that going ahead, at least we know, or for now we know, it may be more transmissible, but less deadlier. That's the biggest thing, is more transmissibility, which is one thing, but a lower case of extreme illness. I think people need to understand that this is actually happening. Yeah. 3D printing guns, I mean, you can take, if you have a machine shop, or if you know how to work a milling machine, you can mill a whole entire gun out of metal, out of solid metal. Forget a 3D printer, and that's been going on for hundreds or 50 years plus. Yeah, viruses don't mutate to kill off their host normally. There is another variant, of course, of COVID out there. We don't have much details on it yet, though. That's the problem. The details are not coming out yet. Of course, Biden's new nominee on the ATF director, of course. I don't even understand. I do not understand why he would go from one nominee that's definitely not going to get approved in the Senate to another nominee that's not going to get through either. We got Brown Jackson's confirmation coming up, and Will Smith getting punishment. Like anybody is going to watch it anyways. Who watches the Emmys? I mean, sorry, I don't. It's just sad. Facing the economy sanctions, the war that's happening in Russia, the global energy flows that we're going to be facing. 2 in 3 Americans rate the U.S. economy as bad. 2 out of every 3 Americans. That's 2/3 of Americans know how bad the economy, or feel the economy is that bad. South Africa is, of course, facing impacts of food crisis right now. So is China. If you guys do not know, there are barren shelves throughout a lot of places. As the U.S., of course, is not feeling it as bad as the rest of the world right now. The feeling's coming around. Everybody eventually will feel this, and it will be a hardship. Of course, Wall Street's betting on Russian debt default, which isn't going to happen. Russia's already secured the gold to make sure they can pay their debt for many years going down the road. Of course, their oil and natural gas, of course, amongst all these new sanctions, are not part of it. The U.S., of course, is the only country that has officially vowed not to take Russian oil as of right now. Just yeah, gas is going to go up in price, and people don't understand what's going to happen with food. I mean, yes, there are few of you guys out here that understand, but food prices are going to start skyrocketing as fertilizer, of course, is becoming a very hard to come by commodity amongst the planting season here in the United States. Crops are getting ready to be sown, and fertilizer is nowhere to be found now. If you weren't able to procure it or have some already on hand before it disappeared from the market, you're SOL at this point. Of course, raising the cost for many, shelves are not as bare right now. Prices are going up on food, and it's going to keep going up. More problems are going to be coming. But it's not one thing, it's another. It's the global elite puppeting the system. Just sad what's happening. Of course, as we're facing this, we're facing it together. No matter what happens out there, we're facing it together. As Americans, as individuals, as a group of individuals. It's just hard. Of course, if anybody wants to call in tonight live, you can, of course. Call in live here, and the phone number should be on the screen. It will be momentarily. Biden should impeach himself using the 25th Amendment. That would be funny. Can you imagine Biden impeaching himself using the 25th Amendment? That would be just one of those things that would just make me laugh and giggle so hard, like a little schoolgirl. Yeah. All these announced 30% to 60% price increase. That's what's happening. Yeah, store shelves were going bare, but now, yeah, water bills have tripled. Sometimes power bills are doubling. Yeah, you're seeing grocery shelves fill up right now again, but that's because right now we're not facing the restrictions on wheat that we will be facing shortly. It's not just wheat, it's the vegetables, that crops that should be planted this year. 30% of the world's wheat's already out of the circulation. 30% is a big percentage. Now you're talking vegetables and everything else that gets grown in crops to feed horses or cattle and horses and everything else. This is going to be a long-term agenda. It's going to affect people long-term. Of course, we've seen what happened, of course, the whole convoy thing. Oh, the number's right there on the bottom of the screen, 954-418-2435. That's a good number, though. 8675309. It's sad, faced with what's left in America and where we're heading. Truckers' convoy accomplished nothing in the long run because once they left D.C., immediately everything went right back to where it was. The federal vaccine mandate went back into effect, which of course didn't help anybody. Going to be up a lot more than that. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'm going to end up signing off. Nobody wants to call in. We understand. But God bless you all. Please share this video out everywhere so people can get the actual news of what's happening without all the fluff. Definitely appreciate you guys and everything you guys do. Of course, and any donations we do receive are greatly appreciated, because even though we may not be receiving donations that we need to support people, we're still out there supporting people through our own money, and we're here to do it no matter what. But God bless you. God bless America. Have a great night.